Live from the Lucas Oil Studios, it's Horsepower Hump Day. Because every NASCAR fan needs a push of the old bumper to get them over that hump.
Stop. Oh, my God.
Here's Kenny, Crash, Richie, and Cole. Let's get humping, boys.
Freak Nation, full awareness on what I'm about to say. We're the only show that does not go into hibernation once NASCAR stops. We got a couple of more weeks before we get fat and happy in our cave, like a big old fat freaking bear slobbering on some whiskey and drinking some nasty throw-me-down sauce. I have no idea where I'm going with this, damn it.
Throw-me-down sauce.
Yeah, it is, man. You ever had a throw-me-down sauce? Yeah. What happened to you last night? Oh, I had a bad case of throw-me-down sauce. Never heard that? Ooh, bang. That's how we roll here in the Freak Nation. Coming up, Kyle Larson, Connor Zilisch, Chase Briscoe, Corey Heim, all coming up here in the Freak Nation. Man, you saw a couple of young dudes get hammered. We'll have that video for you. A couple of young dudes who's at least alluded to that they did not imbibe, but we have video to say au contraire.
Oh, so you're assuming just by the video, let people make up their own minds.
It's hash. They just got high on hash.
They had a fun time at the banquet, period.
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. Freak Nation, quick question for you. Is this the way for Denny Hamlin to go out? Chasing the dream of his first championship, and for all intents and purposes, had the car, had the speed, had everything to win it until William Byron decided to pull out a little BB gun and shoot his freaking tire and go, done! And Denny Hamlin loses the championship. You got to think about how hard it is to get to that Final Four and what Denny Hamlin's gone through over the last 12 months, 16 months with this lawsuit. A new father. Speaking of father, his father ailing. Does he really want to go through this again, man? To chase something that's not guaranteed? To chase something that's not guaranteed to get in the Final Four? Does he really have the gumption to do it? I'm not saying, do I want him? I'm not asking the question, do you want him to? I'm asking you the question, should he? There's two different questions here. I want him to, but should he? Hell no. Not at 44 years old and given what he went through. Crash?
I think this is going to be an opinion that he has that goes up and down throughout the offseason. Right now, he said it on numerous occasions in the media session pre-awards banquet on Tuesday. I'm not in the mood to get in a car right now. But he's also said, I haven't made up my mind if I'm coming back for the 2026 season. I would not fault him if he did not want to come back as a driver and instead just be the owner, the amazing owner that he will be for 23XI, he and Michael Jordan. I would not fault him at all. But I think that as time wears on, and time sometimes heals all wounds, I think that he's going to get that itch again, especially as the new year turns over and January turns to February and the Daytona 500 comes rolling around again and his success at Daytona, he may have a change of tune. I wouldn't blame him either way, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. I think he will come back as a driver.
Cole Cusimano.
I hope so. I've been saying this.
Why do you hope so?
Why do I hope he comes back next year? Because you don't want to see Denny Hamlin go out like that.
Why? What does it matter to you?
Because...
Are you going to lose sleep?
No, I know he is losing sleep. Like I just want to say, like, talking about it and just hearing about it, I feel uneasy. But being around Denny when that all happened at the track and even being at the banquet yesterday, there's just like a black cloud hanging over the entire room with this very uneasy feeling. And if that's how, like, I'm feeling, and the media's feeling, and the fans are feeling, and hell, even the competitions, the competitors are feeling, you can only imagine that's magnified tenfold for Denny, who's experienced this year after year after year, it seems. And I feel like it's defined his career, unfortunately, choking away these championships. I mean, you mentioned all the things there. His father ailing, the lawsuit, being a new father, and having a season like he did at 44 years old. It's got to be a gut-wrenching feeling to that is your headline in 2025. Not that he won the most races and that he dominated that final race. It's that he choked again.
Richie, I want to get to you in just a second, and I hope I remember why. But backing up just a second here, it's up to him to come to terms with where he is. It's not up to us, and it's like no S. I get that. Again, you're comparing this guy to Dan Marino. I don't know internally what Dan Marino thinks right now. Dan Marino's mid-upper 60s at this point, with the greatest quarterback to never win a freaking Super Bowl. Denny Hamlin, same thing with the driver. It's up to him. I can't fault the guy.
Right.
And I'm not going to watch more or less next year if Denny Hamlin's not in the 11. And Richie, you pointed this out when we were at the Championship 4 post-race press conference at the Marriott earlier this week with those 4 drivers in the conference room. There was Denny Hamlin over there with 25 freaking press people jamming microphones all in his face. Yet there we were, solo with Kyle Larson, your freaking champion.
True. Which
plays into what you're saying, Cole. It's just an odd dynamic because the way so many people hopped on the Hamlin bandwagon. Remember, just 8 months ago, people were mother effing this guy.
Yeah.
Just beat your favorite driver. Then all of a sudden, the bandwagon couldn't get any bigger. So, Richie, watching him over there in that post-race, whatever the hell, Tuesday morning extravaganza, Monday, whenever the one.
It was Tuesday.
All right, Tuesday. It was just strange, man.
It was the first thing I noticed. I mean, listen, I knew that people were going to go straight to Denny Hamlin because he was the biggest story and he was the one we all wanted to hear from the most. But it's not good for your sport when you have everybody flocks to the guy that lost the championship and your champion is left just sitting there by himself, so much so that I had to tap both of you on the shoulder and be like, hey, Kyle Larson's here. Can we go talk to Kyle? And Kyle Larson did join us, so I think we're going to have him coming up here later in the show.
Yep.
But, yeah, it was such a strange dynamic. And going back to your initial question about will Denny Hamlin come back, yes, he will. He will. It's every single athlete has gone through this, and whether or not to come back after a heartbreaking loss in a big championship game, and they almost always do come back. You can write story after story after story after something like Denny Hamlin happening, and they all come back because they got a taste of it. They got that taste, and they want to get to that top of the mountain. And I feel like Denny Hamlin's the same way, and he'll be back. He has under contract for the next 2 years, and I expect him to come back. Lewis Hamilton.
Very similar story. Yep.
It's the exact same thing that happened to Lewis Hamilton with one big difference. But Lewis Hamilton he talked about after Abu Dhabi, he was very close to walking
Abu Dhabi 2021.
Abu Dhabi 2021, thank you. Yeah, after he lost that championship to Max Verstappen because a decision was made from the top, from the race director to completely change the rules of the sport and essentially hand Max Verstappen the championship. So Lewis Hamilton got his 8th title stolen from him. Denny Hamlin lost the championship. That's a big difference. And I think Denny understands that. He didn't get that championship stolen from him. He lost it on pit road because Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels made the right call and went to 2 tires, and Denny Hamlin didn't. Mm-hmm. Right?
But then again, I mean, there's a whole nother conversation, and it has been addressed by various drivers. It worked on Friday night. So, I mean, are we going to go to Denny's crew chief and say, hey, 4 tires worked Friday night. Let's give my guy that power to make it work on Sunday. And it just didn't because the cars are set up different or the temperature is different. We're daytime versus nighttime. So it's just a shame. It's a shame how it went out. I know some people are calling it a choke. I don't know if I would call it a choke necessarily because, damn it, there was dominance that day. But 100% fairly, this was Kyle Larson's day. And he might not have led a single lap, and that doesn't matter. He did just enough in the rules to get the championship. And his crew chief made the better call in the end. Kind of similar to the crew chief calls that were made in his first championship. And it's a team sport, which actually, no, I want to rewind. I heard from Cliff Daniels himself. Cliff is giving credit to the engineers below him, saying that they tapped him on the shoulder in the pit box and said, this is what we need to do. Cliff wanted 2 tires. That's at least what I'm hearing. And that his engineers were like, nope, we've aired these up differently. 4 tires is the way to, or excuse me, Cliff wanted 4. But his engineer said, nope, the way we have this, his inner 2 tires are going to be fine. Whatever. They changed his mind to 2. Boom. Team effort. Amazing.
Did you forget what the hell you wanted to say, Cole? Because you had your hand up there a minute ago.
Sorry.
I don't know how much time we have here. I was going to say my biggest rebuttal to your Lewis Hamilton, Denny Hamlin debate or comparison is that how many titles did Lewis Hamilton have before he had that decision to potentially walk away?
7.
Denny Hamlin has 0. He's had that taste of what it's like to be in the championship and contend for a championship at least 5 or 6 times now, and he's experienced heartbreak every single time. Another thing I want to go back to is back at Gateway, he was asked if he would retire if he won the championship. And he said something along the lines of, he wants to go out on top or being competitive. I don't know how at 44 years old, going on 45, how you have more competitive season than winning a series high 6 races this season and having the dominance he had in that championship race. So the argument can be made that he does walk away. It's feeling very similar to how Carl Edwards felt after that defeat back whatever year that was. But, man, it would be so hard to see him go out like this. It really would.
I could tell you that 44, and this is another no-duh moment, 44 mentally is a lot different than 27, 28, 29 to 30. And the more we talk about this, the more I'm leaning towards him getting the hell out of here, frankly. I'm not just trying to be that guy that says he does leave, but it might be more so, and I know we got a break here, more so because I can't freaking blame him. Because ultimately it's outside that car with your dad, with your daughters, with your spouse, with your friends and family. It ain't about hoisting that championship. And I didn't see one time when he was despaired or was in despair because he hadn't hoisted that championship trophy. Freak Nation, coming up, Connor Zilisch, Jesse Love at that snappy little banquet. Holy smokes.
Party.
Remember, these guys are too young to drink. That's coming up next. SpeedFreaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios. This freaking segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road. This freaking segment is brought to you by General Tires. General Tires delivers. For more information on what tires fit your ride, go to generaltire.com. Performance, passenger, light truck, SUV, they got them at General Tire. Go to generaltire.com. Again, generaltire.com to find the tire for your ride. General Tire, over 2 decades as the official tire of Speed Freaks.
Hey, race fans, it's Crash Gladys.
And Kenny Sargent with Speed Freaks. You want motorsports with muscle, stories with edge, and guests that won't hold back? Welcome to Speed Freaks.
We're the only home of raw, real, racing-fueled chaos, and we serve it up weekly on Racer Network. From Supercross to Supercars, F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, we talk legends, we talk lunatics, and everything else in between. Buckle up, Freak Nation.
This is Speed Freaks on Racer Select.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Freak Nation, a great website to check out, lucasoil.com, a line of products to keep your engine snappy, happy, and warm through the winter. Go to lucasoil.com, lucasoil.com. That's lucasoil.com. Friends of the Freaks for over 24 years. Freak Nation, lucasoil.com. All right. So earlier this week, there was a banquet at Desert Ridge Vista Mountain Crossing, Phoenix, Arizona, north-south. Right, Cole?
It was the JW Marriott. Something, yeah, it might have been Desert Ridge, something.
Yes.
Out in
Those
Scottsdale.
losers made me pay to park there.
And you know
Same.
what? My valet was cheaper than your freaking $27.
It was stupid.
What? How much?
It was $27 for me to
What?
park for an hour.
Oh, damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was stupid, but whatever. I kind of we have interviews to get to, so I'll I don't need to rant, but whatever.
2025 has been the year of parking, though. We paid because we missed the media lot at the Indy 500 this year. We had to pay $100 to park at 6 a.m. in the morning before the Indy 500. So, yes, we've had lots of parking issues this year.
Yeah, first world problems, Freak Nation. You feel for us, don't you?
I know.
Hey, man, so Connor Zilisch was part of the post-race, what do they call this? What the hell they call it? The media?
The awards banquet?
No, the scrum.
Oh.
Post-championship.
Post-championship. Scrum, yeah.
Post-championship interviews.
Media.
It happened Tuesday morning at the Marriott in North Scottsdale. and they had all 4 truck drivers, all 4 Xfinity drivers, and all 4 Cup drivers there. Not all at the same time, but the 4 from the respective series, yes. And when Connor came in, this guy just looked like he was beat to S. This poor guy, man. And I'm sorry we didn't get it on video because it was just me and him. And I looked at him and I said, bro, I need a hug. He said, I need one too. We started bro hugging. Like, this is kind of freaking happy.
This is true. It happened. I saw it with my own eyes, but didn't press record on the damn camera.
It's all right.
It was just.
That's cool.
Listen, I'm old enough to be his old man a few times over. So it was a weird feeling just knowing that he got his ass kicked from Saturday night through Tuesday morning, and he just looked beat up. But like a champ, man, like a freaking future multi-time champion in NASCAR, he came out and faced the press, and including Crash and yours truly. Or was this just me with Connor?
This time it was just you. I was with him before you and Richie got over there, but I was just recording him. That's it. So
before we get to him letting loose that night with Jesse Love, it's a good 2.5 minutes with my man, CZ and the Sarge. Needless to say, the big story, of course, is what didn't happen in Phoenix, but the things at such a young age that you're going to be able to learn from. I hate asking this question, but the things you're going to learn from this, whether it's from dudes who've had issues with clinching championships, but where you are now, are you even thinking about what you learned from this?
Yes and no. I think I've learned the lessons subconsciously. I don't think I really had to think about, the lessons that I learned and the trials and everything I had to go through. It was just a lot of new emotion for me and things that I didn't expect to feel. And I definitely feel like I've grown as a person throughout this, weekend and just learning how to deal with bad days and getting through the good and the bad of our sport.
One of the issues that I have as a father of an 11-year-old is when my daughter fails and she kicks ass and she gives it her best. And she looks over, Dad, what else can I do? I said, sweetheart, things just didn't align. What was the conversation like with you and your dad?
Yeah, he just told me, you gave it your all this year, and he was proud of me. He didn't really talk about losing on Saturday. He just kind of talked about the year we've had, and my dad's been a big supporter of mine and a backbone to a lot of my success. So yeah, I'm grateful to have him and the talks that we had after. But yeah, it's definitely not something that's easy to deal with, and I know I've got a lot more years ahead of me in this sport, so that excites me, and I can already kind of move past it, knowing that hopefully there's bigger things ahead.
Can I say one more thing? I think it's bullshit about the FIA where you've got to win a championship and then to get in the hypercar. Come on, man, help me out here, right?
Yeah, I know. I needed a FIA license to run a hypercar in WEC, whether it was a test or not. And, I needed to win the championship to have enough points, and obviously fell short.
You win the Daytona 24, you win 10 races in the Xfinity Series, but you can't run a hypercar.
Yeah, technically. It was full season points, and I didn't run I didn't run full season points in IMSA. I only did the endurance races, so I didn't really get enough points out of that season. So, there's a ton of things that I could go on and on about, but yeah, it's the rules that they've given us, and I'm not going to argue it.
Let's get Connor Zilisch and I almost said Brian Herta, Colton Herta in a room together. Let's talk about this FIA, the requirements for a license. Come on. If a championship is enough if you need full season championship points for this FIA license, are we just neglecting the fact that he had a, one-time, two-time Trans Am champion? Come on. And he won not just the Rolex 24, but the Sebring 12 hours as well. This does not add up. And I know somebody was Xing me. Is that what we're going to call it now? When somebody tweets you back, they X you, saying, but hey, the FIA does this because it's all for safety and security, because they want their drivers to know the European tracks, the worldwide tracks, not just the American tracks. Dude, can you go left and right? Can you be dynamic in your abilities? If you can prove that no matter what the series, you are earning or you're deserving of a gold license, an A license. Doesn't make any sense. Valentino frickin' Rossi, motorcycle champion 7 times over, but motorcycle champion, was able to get into a hypercar at Indianapolis this year. No sports car experience before that. Okay.
Well, Freak Nation, we're not going to end this on a negative note with my man CZ because, again, he's been coming in here for about 4 years now. When he was 16, was he 15 the first time he rolled in the Freak Nation? In the TA2 class? Regardless.
Sure. It was a few years ago.
So in other words, dude has not been able to legally drink since he's been coming in here and allegedly still can't. Same with Jesse Love. Both young dudes, friends of the Freak Nation. Jesse Love's been coming in here for 3 years and was kicking ass in the ARCA series. And now he wins the championship in the Xfinity series. But Cole Cusimano, residential snorkeler of the NASCAR, at the
Guilty.
at the at the banquet, pulled out his freaking Nikon, got some great video of these young dudes. I'm not saying they were hammered. I'm not saying they were drunk, but damn it, they were entertaining. So before we get to that video of these guys lighting it up, here we are talking to these young dudes talking about drinking because they can't drink at this age, right? When you win the championship, of those three drivers, who would you want to party with you?
Obviously, Connor.
He says he's never drank. Come on.
No, yeah, that had nothing to do with that. I can't even, really party yet. But
I wasn't insinuating that you did. I was just saying that.
But we will go out there and go on a nice run or something.
Oh my God! Caught a buzz yet?
Man,
off of the champagne that's being poured.
I have not. No, I got another about year and a half until I can. So Jimmy would yell at me if I did, and he's keeping me straight.
Yes, touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. The times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good.
Yes.
Da, da, da. To believe it never would.
Oh.
Hey, was that like Dean Martin and with that tuxedo?
The NASCAR Rat Pack, man. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Love it. Love it.
I'm not saying they were hammered either, Cole Cusimano.
No, I mean, I didn't see any drinks in their hands the whole night. But what a great performance. That was the highlight of the entire evening. He did it. He got to party with his best friend, Connor Zilisch, after winning the championship. Jesse Love, that is. And I just got to say, I am so proud of them for knowing the words to Sweet Caroline and choosing that song, which gets a lot of flack nowadays for being this, drunk anthem, for choosing that over a dumb song like Country Roads. I can't stand that song. This one's more culture. I love the Neil Diamond impressions. They did a great job, and they brought the house down. Awesome job, guys.
That was perfect. When you sent that to us on Tuesday night, I texted to a couple friends in IndyCar, and they're older like me, and they said, I'm surprised they actually know the words to that song. I'm like, clearly they have cool parents. I mean, duh.
Cole, you were there at the banquet, and maybe it's just the microphone on your phone, but people were watching this and they seemed like they were stunned. There wasn't a whole lot of people, because like you say, at the freaking Red Sox game, wherever they play the damn song, people are going bananas. But a lot of the NASCAR folks are going, these guys are 19 and they're getting hammered and the world gets to see. We're getting a call from the principal tomorrow morning.
That's what it felt like. It felt like when they have those corporate work parties, like for Christmas or whatever, and it's like, oh, so-and-so did this. I can't believe it. That's what it felt like, seeing all these NASCAR folks and drivers like let loose. But it was a fun time. Yeah. And I don't know, just seeing them upstage, have fun as best friends was the best. And I think everybody there was stunned. That's why there wasn't as much of a reaction initially. But beyond that video, it was hype.
Connor Zilisch, Jesse Love, have a little bit of fun there on stage. Coming up next, his name is Kyle Larson. Spends a good time with him. Your NASCAR Cup Series champion for 2025. He's next. SpeedFreaks, Lucas Oil Studios. This freaking segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road. This freaking segment is brought to you by General Tires. General Tires delivers. For more information on what tires fit your ride, go to generaltire.com. Performance, passenger, light truck, SUV, they got them. at General Tire. Go to GeneralTire.com. Again, GeneralTire.com to find the tire for your ride. General Tire, over 2 decades as the official tire of Speed Freaks.
Hey, race fans, it's Crash Gladys.
And Kenny Sargent with SpeedFreaks. You want motorsports with muscle, stories with edge, and guests that won't hold back? Welcome to SpeedFreaks.
We're the only home of raw, real, racing-fueled chaos, and we serve it up weekly on Racer Network. From Supercross to Supercars, F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, we talk legends, we talk lunatics, and everything else in between. Buckle up, Freak Nation.
This is SpeedFreaks on Racer Select.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Well, Freak Nation, the website to go to right about now before winter hits is GeneralTire.com. Friends of the Freak Nation for well over 2 decades, GeneralTire.com. GeneralTire.com. Plenty of selections for you and your hot rod. Again, when it starts getting icy and snowy and just kind of rat-effed out there, go to GeneralTire.com. It's GeneralTire.com. Crasher, why do you even react when I just devise words such as that?
Well, rat-effed. I just wasn't expecting it, but you're right. I should. After 25 years, 25 and a half, I should absolutely expect anything coming out of your pie hole. So, yeah, I don't know.
Richie, look
Can't
it up.
answer it.
Look up rat fink. Look up rat fink real quick.
Fink.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're
Fink?
talking
Yeah,
about.
that's why I said that, Crash. Listen, we got to be prepared. I didn't tell you about my meeting with those guys for next year of standards and practices and things that we can and can't say. I'll share that with you later, Freak Nation. Kyle Larson, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series championship, and like a lot of you, Freak Nation, when he hopped out of the car, a lot of us were looking the same way, like, what's the meme where the guy goes, or it's when the little girl with the buck teeth goes, It's like, really? You just won the championship?
Oh, yeah, she goes.
Yeah, she goes. We, again, caught up with Kyle Larson Tuesday morning at the Championship 4 press conference, and I asked him straight up. I said, dude, when I saw you take your lid off, you had that look of, man, I just won this SOB. Kyle Larson now with the Freaks. Kyle, watching you after the Phoenix win and championship, you pulled your helmet off, and a lot of us had the same face you did, like, did I just win this thing? When was that point where it's like, I actually did win this thing, but the surprise was still there? It was evident.
Yeah. I think it took a few minutes at least. I would say it was still all shock, when I was celebrating with the pit crew and team on the backstretch, and then I finally got to go to the front stretch. I think that's when it was kind of sinking in that, wow, this is sort of real. And then slowly it became more and more real. So yeah, just so shocking. And still, I would say even at this point right now, like I still can't believe, I mean, I can believe it, because it happened, but I just can't believe like how lucky we got in a sense of cautions falling at the right time, and then team doing a good job with pit calls, and then us just executing at a high level there those final, 30 minutes of the race.
There was so much talk about Chase, Denny, and William. There wasn't a whole lot of chatter about you, but you just sat there. Was that part of the strategy, going, maybe I don't need to take the headlines during this race, let's just make sure we're there for that last lap?
Well, I mean, that's never part of the strategy. I think us in the 5 team, I love to go out there and dominate and lead a lot of laps and win by large margins and whatnot. But, I would just say that Sunday's race was kind of just our season really in a whole, or at least from the final 2/3 of the season. I feel like we just kind of quietly were, around and just quietly in the hunt. And then we were finally there to capitalize. And, yeah, we've had lots of top 5s, lots of top 10s, and a few wins and lots of laps led. But I just feel like it's been the quietest season of my career at Hendrick. So yeah, pretty unreal.
Full season points are the playoff points. Either way, you are still the champion. NASCAR has confirmed that. So with that, what do you say to the naysayers and just say, guys, what else can I do? Consistency wins, period. It always has.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel like I need or want to defend it. It doesn't. I would say if there was another format, you would probably call your races differently. So it would look different. It's hard to say, oh, I scored the most points, and we would have played every team would have played every race exactly the same if it was a totally different format, which I don't think is the case. So I don't know. I don't really think there's any reason to defend it. But yeah, I'm just proud to be a champion and proud that in the fashion that we were able to do it.
One thing that's been annoying me the last couple of days is the ESPNs, the Foxes, the bigger sports stick and ball shows haven't been giving you the credit that you deserve. Is there something that we as motorsports in general need to do better to get you guys on the front page after such a monumental day like Sunday?
I don't have a great answer for you because I haven't had the time to watch ESPN or watch these big networks and what they're saying, and ultimately it doesn't matter to me what they're saying. But I think our sport's always been working hard to get us out into the mainstream and get the respect that we deserve and respect that we used to get. I feel like as a sport. So I don't know. I think star power and big moments help that all out. So hopefully we can continue to build stars in our sport, and I think it'll all take care of itself.
I like watching Larson's son in those pictures, man, trying to hog some of the spotlight.
Owen with his arms up like, I don't know how far I should go, but yay, Dad.
Have you guys seen any, like, Good Morning America or anything like that with Kyle Larson?
So far, zero, and that's driving me crazy. So that's why I asked that question, because after the Daytona 500, after the Indy 500, you see NASCAR media, IndyCar media, boom, go to New York City, do the media circuit. But we're not, and we saw it a little bit with Alex Palou after his IndyCar championship this year. We haven't seen anything yet for Kyle Larson in the NASCAR championship. And because of how dramatic that Sunday was, I expected to see some of the big shows. Even Pat McAfee, who follows motorsports, I didn't see anything on his show. So, yeah, I am disappointed. And I feel like it shouldn't all fall on NASCAR media. It should fall on those... just the recognition of the sport in general. So maybe that does go back to PR people, but I want to see something between now and this lawsuit, because once this lawsuit starts up December 1st, that's all we're going to be talking about. Kyle Larson needs his time. We need championship talk throughout November, and we need it now.
Mm-hmm. I think it is very bizarre, because usually at this point you see these drivers or champions featured on like Jimmy Fallon, Tonight Show, the morning shows, and there hasn't been any buzz about that going on. And I'm curious if it would have been different if Denny Hamlin won the championship. Is there more of a demand for that? But it's like Richie was saying earlier, and your experience yesterday at the media day, it's like all the attention on this championship has been on Denny Hamlin losing. It hasn't been on Kyle Larson becoming a two-time champion, which we only have 3 active with more than one championship in the sport right now. So it should be a much bigger deal than it actually is. And it's something I've been really mad about for a while with the media and the larger landscape, ESPN's, Fox Sports, and what have you. There's never any really coverage of NASCAR, and this is a prime example right here of why we're not having more of that star power, I think.
Hey, you know what's going to fix that? Going to a full season points format.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Cole, you were there for the banquet, and you were there for the red carpet?
Yes.
What news stations were there covering the event locally?
None.
How about that?
What?
None.
Let that
not
resonate.
Because like you had Channel 3 there throughout the entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was nothing. There was some local outlets, but no.
It's the same people there, and I raise my hand. Mm-hmm. It's us. Mm-hmm. It's the same damn people there covering the sport, which is why we're in this little freaking cocoon, because we can't get outside of the damn thing. Covering this sport, covering the NHRA, covering IndyCar, covering Supercross. We just can't get out of our little freaking cocoons. And I'm not saying I have all the freaking answers, but I guarantee if somebody that's running for a championship has a gnarly freaking personality, is out getting a DUI and slapping dudes around, they're going to be there putting the camera in their face. Yeah. What, Crash? What kind of look was that?
DUI? I don't think.
Whatever. Come on. Settle down. You know what the hell I'm talking about,
You just mean crazy stories.
And if you, let's try and make Sunday's race a Major League Baseball World Series, 7 games.
Well, we had that the same weekend. What? Go with where you were going,
yes,
sir.
That's what I'm saying, man. You had Toronto and the Dodgers, Game 7, epic freaking game, and the way it got to that point of the Dodgers winning was just, it's so much fun to watch. I watched more baseball that night than I have all year combined, all right? If you watch that cup race, same thing. You go through the first 2, 3, 4 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings. Then, of course, in that late stage, you're getting towards the 7th, the 8th, and then there's 30, 20 laps to go. You're in the top of the ninth, extra innings where the excitement, oh my God, you're just that. You're that. But no one's covering it. NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, they're not there. They don't give an S.
Why? I guess the biggest question is then why? Why don't they give an S? Because it was an epic sports story. I know the NFL's going on. Still, you've got this other epic sports story. And yes, the
if it was
Game
Dale
7
Earnhardt
baseball.
Jr., yes. Absolutely. If it was Chase Elliott, maybe. But Kyle Larson, sorry, no. William Byron, no. Chase Briscoe, is that going to bring out freaking ESPN? Hell no.
When you can't even get Kyle Larson to show up on your show, on your TV partner shows, Fox Sports 1 has programming all day, right?
Yep.
Fox is a big rights holder and have been for 25 years. The fact that he wasn't on whatever their morning show is now, I don't know what it's called. The fact that he wasn't on Colin Cowherd or any of their shows is crazy work. Absolutely crazy.
All right,
work.
we got a break. Freak Nation, Chase Briscoe running for the championship. The more I talk to this guy, the more I love this cat, man. I'm going to be cheering for this happy bastard next year. Chase Briscoe in the Final Four. And he joins us in his Indianapolis Motor Speedway shirt and his shorts. Next, SpeedFreaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios. This freaking segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road. This freaking segment is brought to you by General Tires. General Tires delivers. For more information on what tires fit your ride, go to generaltire.com. Performance, passenger, light truck, SUV, they got them at General Tire. Go to generaltire.com. Again, generaltire.com to find the tire for your ride. General Tire, over 2 decades as the official tire of Speed Freaks.
Hey, race fans, it's Crash Gladys.
And Kenny Sargent with SpeedFreaks. You want motorsports with muscle, stories with edge, and guests that won't hold back? Welcome to SpeedFreaks.
We're the only home of raw, real, racing-fueled chaos, and we serve it up weekly on Racer Network. From Supercross to Supercars, F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, we talk legends, we talk lunatics, and everything else in between. Buckle up, Freak Nation.
This is SpeedFreaks on Racer Select.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Freak Nation, big second hour coming up. IndyCar tested out in Phoenix. That's where we're based, you happy bastards. So we're out there hanging out with Alexander Rossi and Scott Dixon. Speaking of champions who couldn't get freaking arrested when he was winning multi-championships in the, what the hell ever they called it back in the day, Champ Car and IndyCar Series Crasher. Scott Dixon, a fantastic personality that a lot of folks don't know about.
He's just one of those guys. And Kenny, the two of you could just sit there and have whiskeys together and make these completely off-base jokes and just have the best night ever. But that's the thing. He's just got one of those personalities that it's under the radar, but it is very, very fun.
So, yeah, man, big second hour coming up here in the Freak Nation. Cole Cusimano, make that point. Let's ride a little bit of the coattails off that last segment, what you were talking about with your girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend. I'm sorry, you guys broke up last week.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. First of all, great analogy in likening that championship race to the World Series Game 7. I just wanted to say, I felt like Sydney Sweeney being at the racetrack overshadowed so much of this race. Like, you go on social media, every single NASCAR social media channel, every single ESPN channel, whatever you want to look to, they're featuring Sydney Sweeney at the racetrack. They're not talking about that incredible 4-wide pass for the lead for Denny Hamlin late in the race. They're not talking about Kyle Larson being a 2-time champion. They're not talking about all these ridiculous rallies from all 4 drivers in this championship race in what made it one of the best, in my opinion, of all time. But Sydney Sweeney was the biggest story outside of Denny Hamlin losing it. It's what it looks like anyway on social media.
And that you're essentially saying that's a problem.
It is a problem,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
She
Great
stole
for
your
her
star
to bring
power.
attention, but we need the stars to be the drivers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how big she is. Excuse me. Cole Cusimano would not go back a second time to try and get a selfie with Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson,
Oh, come on.
Mark Sanchez. He would not go back twice. But when he F's up his selfie with Sydney Sweeney, hell yes, he goes back twice. Put the picture up of Skipjack.
Well, it's like I said to William Byron on last Sunday's show, you shoot your shot with Sydney Sweeney. I wasn't going to get an awful selfie like the one I got on the right initially. So when are you ever going to see her again at the racetrack? She's like the biggest star in the world right now. I had to go in for seconds.
Would she be the biggest star in the world? And I ask this not as a get off my lawn guy, but really she came to prominence with me. Again, I'm familiar with some of her roles now, but when she had the controversy with the jeans, where it just crossed over to not just freaking horn dogs like you, little freaking heat-seeking missile type dudes, but when it got into the space of 40 and 50-year-olds, that's when for me it started to really take off.
I think so. Richie can speak to this too. But I feel like I've been a fan of her since Euphoria. She got an Emmy Award nomination for that role.
See, I didn't even know she was in Euphoria, and I watched Euphoria.
She's a tremendous actress. I watch her in all of her shows that she's been in.
Why is that, Cole?
Because she's great. She's a great actress.
I'm sure.
Season 2. Check it out.
She's a great actress.
But no, I think that definitely propelled her into like superstardom because there was a lot of controversy surrounding it. Yeah. But I don't
Controversy sells.
I don't know. What do you think, Richie? You're a big movie guy.
Cindy's great. She's a good actress, but I mean, can we put up the picture again? Like, she's legit one of the most attractive people in the entire world. That's why she's
exactly.
Popular. That's why she's popular. If you were on the internet earlier this week, there was a picture of her that went viral because she was at an event or something. And that picture, I swear, was on my timeline like 95% of the time. I'm sure it was around the world, and people were making jokes about it. And that's why she's popular. Yeah. And then she showed up at the NASCAR race the same weekend.
And the World Series.
I freaking missed her. I'm bummed I missed her. But we move on, Big Balls Cusimano, though, asking for 2 pictures is crazy. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever have done that.
Big Balls
Well, you know what? My equivalent to that was spending about 6 or 8 minutes with Dale Jr.
I knew you were going to say
23 years ago and not turning the recorder on and then going back to him to do it again.
Yeah, that's...
And this is when he was in his absolute popular
It was like
prime
his
heyday.
first or second year in Cup.
Yeah.
We have a first-time viewer, I'm assuming, tuning in to watch us and asking, is this a motorsport show? Yeah, it is. But we also...
Sometimes.
Yeah, freaks.
Sometimes.
Freaks. Hey, if you're just tuning in, go back. We just had Kyle Larson, the Cup champion, on.
Right.
We just had Cup champion. Chase Briscoe's come on the show a little bit. Others.
We also had
Love. Connor Zilisch was on the show.
Connor Zilisch and Jesse
plenty.
Love from the awards banquet singing Sweet Caroline. We're a lifestyle show that just so happens to be about motorsports.
There it is. His name is Corey Heim, who frankly doesn't punch a whole lot of tickets until he runs in the Freak Nation. Guy busted my balls when I first rolled up to him. He said, "Where you been?" He hadn't talked to me in 3 years. I said, "Well, this last year at Worldwide Technology Raceway, you happy bastard, when I asked you about going to racing for Denny Hamlin." "I don't know anything, Denny." But damn it, he wins himself with. He's the only one that many folks said this guy has to win the championship or it's rigged. He's the only one out of the 3 that goes out and delivers. It's Corey Heim, NASCAR Truck Series champion, now with the Freaks. So Corey Heim, back at the Freak Nation, bust my balls because I haven't jammed a mic in his face for the last year or so. All that being said, championship, you've got it. It's clinched. But there's unfinished business for you. You're such a young age. Who's helping coaching you through all this to get to this championship and now on to 2026?
I don't think it was anyone specific by any means. I think, I've been able to surround myself with a lot of good people that have kind of kept my head screwed on straight, if you will, and make sure that everything is kind of going the direction that I need to be a full-time Cup driver one day and everything, and be prepared for that opportunity. But, I think there's a good, close batch of people, my girlfriend and my dad and all my close friends and everything that I find myself being around because they are good people and they've got good guidance and understand kind of the position I'm at in my life. So I'd say those are probably the main people.
Corey, when you're kicking ass in the ARCA series, it's a bit of pressure. Then you jump up to trucks. Is it palpable? Meaning, can you taste as you move up another level, the pressure of winning races?
I mean, from ARCA to trucks, I got a pretty smooth transition because I went from full-time ARCA with a part-time truck schedule to mostly part-time with truck and part-time ARCA and then full-time truck. I got a very slow transition into that, so it was never like a semi-truck hitting me in the face of pressure going to truck series by any means. So I never really felt that. I mean, I remember my debut, I was very, very stressed out about that in the truck series, and same with ARCA. So I feel like it's just kind of breaking the ice maybe a little bit. Same with the Cup car. I mean, I made my debut, in 20. Where did I make my debut? 23 or 24. So doing that for the first time was definitely a lot of pressure. But I feel like once you break the ice and start to get used to that pressure and are able to hone it in and make it turn into success, I think that's kind of the turning point for me after a handful of races. And I feel like that's it's been pretty consistent for every series.
Coming into the weekend, Denny, you, Connor, those are the three drivers that people said those are the guys that should win the championship. Oops. One out of the two did. What's your emotion on what happened with Connor and what happened with Denny not winning those championships?
Definitely different. I mean, I felt really bad for Connor that he didn't get it done, but I think everyone knows that he was probably the best this year, but I think at the same time, everyone knows what we signed up for in this playoff format, and it was all going to come down to Phoenix, and they unfortunately just weren't able to execute, and that's just part of it. I mean, it happened to us last year. We had a really dominant season for the most part, won a lot of races, went to Phoenix, and kind of got our ass kicked, and that's just part of life, But Denny, on the other hand, I mean, I think everyone knows they did everything right. That was crushing, and I think, I've got a soft spot for Denny because he's my boss, and I was a fan of him growing up, so that hurt a little extra for me, but. I think even if it was, if Larson went out there and dominated and had a caution with 3 to go and lost the race, I'd have felt really bad for him too, It's just a terrible way to lose, and it's the unfortunate part of this format.
You teed it up for me because I was going to remind you about what happened last year. You were in a similar situation. How long did you hold that moment, like what could have been?
Yeah, I mean, since it was pretty evident from practice that he was probably going to dominate the race, and if it wasn't for a late race restart or a miracle, we were going to have a hard time dealing with them. So I knew from Thursday last year that we were going to have our hands full. And, as the race played out, we kept making adjustments and nothing really seemed to get us closer. So after the race, I mean, it was like, yeah, this sucks. We just got our ass kicked. But, like, at the same time, I mean, what were we going to do? We brought our best to Phoenix and we just didn't have it. So you got to move on. And it didn't really take me long to move on from it. But if something like what happened to Denny happened to me, and kind of like 2023 where we should have won and got wrecked, that really sucked. So, even though you lose and the scoreboard says the same thing, the way you lose definitely dictates a lot of the feeling and the emotion after.
What can you share with us for 2026?
I really don't know much, to be honest with you. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of waiting day by day to see what that looks like.
Are you in constant contact with Denny? Are you bugging his ass, texting him and say, bro, or is he in contact with you?
No, I mean, he's got people that will figure that out. So I'm not too worried about blowing him up about it. I know that there's people that he's hired to make those decisions and kind of figure out what's next for me. So I haven't been too adamant about texting him or anything like that.
There you go, Corey Heim, one of the 3 drivers that many folks said he better win the damn championship or it's jacked. All right, that does it for us there, Freak Nation. Be sure you join us every Wednesday and Sunday at the proper times, 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, and, of course, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, Sunday nights on the official Speed Freaks at YouTube. If you miss us, we're on Mondays at noon Eastern and Pacific on Racer Network. See ya!